because I think it really pertains to a lot of the things that are going on right now, and I think that's something that we can get into, but primarily focusing, striking that balance between being too tolerant and then being completely intolerant. Um, and I think you start off very well with the chapter in talking about, uh, for instance, the false doctrines of the evil stranger, and kind of how do we then rally, how do the quote unquote powers that be generate a sense of tolerance. And one way of doing that is by uh, externalizing the enemy outside of the immediate collective. So instead of saying, oh, well, you need to hate this person because they got blue eyes and you got brown eyes, or different gender, different whatever the case may be, it externalizes it to then kind of almost as a way of inclusivity, because then it's like, oh, well, now we need to band together as humans against some sort of an extraterrestrial threat or something like that. Um, Another one, when you're kind of talking about the great evil doctrines, is uh, can we all just agree to agree or disagree? Uh, and I think it's a big one because it kind of it prevents people from engaging in, I guess, not necessarily arguments or debates, but kind of a clash of ideas. It's like, well, can't we just kind of level out the field and just all get along and all agree, and just all agree to disagree and kumbaya? But it's in that kind of potential chaos of merging ideas that you get solutions to problems. And sometimes that these solutions come out of very intense debates on, different forks in the road. Which way are we going to go? Are we going to go this way? Or are we going to go this way? And you got 50% saying I want to go this way. You got 50% going this way. Well, in a situation like that, when there's momentum built up, you can't just halt that momentum and say, hey, we all just got to agree. We're gonna go one way or the other. And so I think an issue then lies in how do we mitigate the potential um, kinetic energy that comes out of it? Do we fight? Do we fight over which way we're going to go, physically, or can we kind of contain that energy into just more diplomatic dialogue, and then kind of somewhat collectively uh, go a specific direction? So you bring up that point as well, and I think that that's very pertinent to just a lot of the things that we're going through right now, as well as how we've gotten here from the past.
Yeah, yeah, those three opening up of, I call them great evil doctrines, just a little bit dramatically, but I think the core point of the three is that each one of them is a oversimplification. The doctrine of the evil stranger, the enemy at the gates. There is, and I say can be a false application of the truth that strangers harbor threat. Like there are sometimes, maybe always, enemies at the gates that need to be held out. And so that is a truth that we can recognize. But then sometimes, as you were saying, people will use it to create false consensus in order to just focus somewhere else. Or now that we've seen that happen, people will say, "Oh, well, you know, anyone who's saying that there's danger out there is really just trying to pull that trick, and there's actually no danger out there." And it's like, well, that's not how it works. Um, and the same thing with agree, just let's all agree to agree. That works in sometimes in some cases, and there are some people in the world who need to what? Just deal with the fact that they can't control everybody. Like, yeah. Um, but as a simplification, there's an oversimplification that occurs. That it's like, well, if we could all just come around to my point of view where we can just tolerate everybody and just all just agree to agree, everything would be fine. And that's just a deep naivety of like, you just don't think that that anything that bad ever really happens outside of, uh implement it like nothing human originated. It's like, oh, there's this evil system that makes people do things. And
Mhm.
anyhow, the point is that both of those are missteps, and then people get scared of like, well, then that means that there's no solution to anything, and we're all just gonna, it's all just, you know, downhill all the way, chaos all the way. And that's also not true. And it's hard to describe a particular, just say like exactly like here's the middle way. Here, I can't describe it to you, but it's not that, not that, and it's not hopelessness in the middle. There is a middle, and it's just messy. And so that's how the chapter opens up, and that's how I'm trying to come at tolerance, is that tolerance is actually something that is difficult. And the definition of difficult means we're going to fail at it a lot. Like it is actually challenging. It is actually something that you can't just say, oh, let's all do it. And then we all do it.
Right. It's like we need to apply grace to ourselves and accept the grace from God and that we are fallible